What would you do if you caught your husband cheating and his mistress trying to take everything you own? Here's how one woman fought back. I took my son shopping for 3 kilograms of gemstones in preparation for my future daughter-in-law. Unexpectedly, I saw my husband, Victor, openly kissing a young woman in the middle of the street. At 50 years old, he felt no shame about flaunting his affair in public. My son Michael was furious and wanted to confront them. But I stopped him. Stay calm, I told him. If your father wants to cheat, let him. Just make sure we spend his money. If we don't, someone else will. With that, I happily walked into the jewelry store and spent $4,350 on gold accessories for my future daughter-in-law. Both Michael and Grace, my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, thought I had lost my mind out of anger, but they had no idea. Victor wouldn't be enjoying his carefree days for long. Mom, stop buying these things. We need to think of a proper way to deal with them, Michael urged, following closely behind me. He was already formulating schemes he had seen in TV dramas, determined to drive the young mistress Lily away. I, however, knew better. If there wasn't a Lily today, there would be someone else tomorrow. Why should I, at my age, waste energy competing with these young women? Instead, I dragged Grace along and told her to pick whatever luxury items she liked. Don't hold back. The more expensive, the better. We don't need to save money for your father. My actions made Michael think I was just another weak, submissive housewife, scared of being abandoned and too timid to confront my husband. He was wrong. I had been given a second chance at life, and I wouldn't make the same mistakes as before. In my previous life, I had learned about Victor's affair with a college student, Lily, around this exact time. I had foolishly confronted them, slapping Lily in anger. She, being clever, immediately fell to the ground, clutching her belly, and screamed that she was having a miscarriage. Victor jumped to her defense and even raised his hand against me. Enraged, Michael joined the fight, but in the chaos, Lily was pushed onto the street and struck by a car. The unborn child was lost. Lily played the victim perfectly. She accused Michael of deliberately causing harm, which led to him being charged with attempted murder. He lost his job, his reputation, and even his engagement to Grace. Victor and Lily then conspired to transfer all our joint assets into her name under the guise of paying compensation. I had no evidence of their affair, so I walked away with nothing. As if that wasn't enough, fate eventually turned on them. Not long after, Victor suffered a workplace accident that left him in a vegetative state. Lily, however, enjoyed her life, receiving $86.96 monthly in compensation, as well as Victor's retirement benefits. Meanwhile, I was forced to work as a janitor in a residential complex, barely scraping by while she thrived. Now, with this second chance, I swore to myself I wouldn't sacrifice my life or my son's future for Victor. If Lily wanted to care for him, she could have him. But all his assets, those would be mine. After purchasing all the jewelry for Grace, I dragged Michael along to meet Grace's family. They had suddenly demanded an increase in the dowry from $4,350 to $21,740. Are you serious? I asked Grace's mother. You're raising the dowry from $4,350 to $21,740. That's correct. We must insist on $21,740. Do not compromise, she replied firmly. Mom, the dowry was already settled. Will Dad even agree to this? Michael whispered nervously. Your father definitely won't agree, I assured him. But don't worry, I have my ways. When Victor returned home, later that evening, reeking of perfume, he was greeted by our somber faces. What's wrong? You two seemed happy this morning. Did the jewelry not meet Kiara's taste? No, it was perfect, I replied. But Kiara's mother says the dowry is too low. She insists on $21,740 now. Our relatives claim it would be humiliating otherwise. Victor's face darkened. What? Jewelry worth $4,350 wasn't enough, and now they want $21,740. Are they insane? Victor had always been prideful, especially when it came to appearances. He couldn't afford to lose face in front of his colleagues, especially his workplace rival, whose son was hosting an extravagant wedding. The thought of being laughed at was unbearable for him. Begrudgingly, he grabbed his car keys and drove off with Michael trailing behind him. Arriving at Grace's house, Victor began pleading his case. We agreed on $4,350 initially. Invitations have already been sent out. Do you want to ruin everything now? Are you marrying off your daughter or selling her? Grace's mother sneered, rubbing her belly. Kiara is carrying twins now. Isn't it reasonable to ask for a better dowry to secure their future? Victor's face froze. Twins. She handed him an ultrasound report. His mood shifted instantly, and he beamed with pride. That's my boy. One try, and it's twins. No one can top that. Dad, don't get ahead of yourself, Michael interrupted. We don't even know if this wedding will happen. Victor laughed nervously and pulled out a bank card. This has $21,740 on it. Take it. Victor pretended the money had been set aside for something else. But I knew better. It was the down payment for a house he had promised Lily. That evening, Lily bombarded Victor's phone with angry calls, demanding to know what had happened to the promised money. Pretending to be asleep, I eavesdropped as Victor tried to calm her down. Lily, the house will still be yours. I'll withdraw the funds from my investments next month. Trust me, I would never abandon you or the baby, he whispered into the phone. But Lily wasn't easily fooled. You keep saying next month. If you don't secure the house soon, I'll terminate this pregnancy. Victor panicked. Don't. I'll take care of it. I swear. The next day, while Victor was out, I accessed his phone and discovered he had hidden more than $86,950 in stock investments. He had even sent photos of his account balance to Lily to reassure her. Enraged, I forwarded the details of the housing complex to James, a colleague of Victor's who was also house hunting for his son. It was time for my plan to unfold. A month later, Lily eagerly dragged Victor to the sales office to select the best house. She chose a prime corner unit, declaring, "Our baby deserves the best. This is perfect." Victor was about to agree when James suddenly appeared with his pregnant wife. "Victor, fancy meeting you here. Looking for a house, too? Which one are you buying?" Victor, caught off guard, tried to deflect. But I soon arrived with Michael and Grace. Adding to his discomfort, I feigned surprise and said, "Victor, you should have told me about this beautiful house earlier. Let's buy it for Michael and Grace." Cornered, Victor had no choice but to pay the full amount for the house in front of everyone, depleting his secret funds. Lily, furious, caused a scene, but ultimately had no power to stop us. Victor's funds had been drained, and Lily was left furious. To keep her pacified, I suggested that Michael and Grace move into the newly purchased house, claiming it would be more convenient for taking care of Lily and the baby. Victor seemed pleased by my apparent understanding and agreed without hesitation. Little did he know, this was all part of my plan. "Mom, are you out of your mind?" Michael asked incredulously. "You're letting Dad and that Mistress move into our house. What if they take over while you're away?" I smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry. Victor only has a few small savings left. The joint account is locked, and his major assets are under my control. Let Lily look after him. In the meantime, I'll enjoy some much-deserved rest and relaxation." With that, I packed my bags and booked a flight for a short vacation. The moment I left, Victor moved Lily into our house, acting like a doting husband. Neighbors, curious about the new guest, warned me of the arrangement. I played along, feigning ignorance. "Oh, that's just Victor's goddaughter. She's staying for a while." Lily, emboldened by Victor's assurances, began acting as if she owned the place. However, her smug attitude didn't last long. 1 week later, I received a call informing me that Victor had been in a car accident during a work trip. Rushing to the hospital, I found Michael, Grace, and a visibly shaken Lily, already there. The company's leader approached me with a sympathetic expression. "Mrs. Anna, I'm truly sorry for this unfortunate incident. Since this was a work-related accident, the company will cover all medical expenses and compensate your family with $86,950. Additionally, Victor's pension will be adjusted to include $300 per month for as long as he lives." Hearing this, I nodded in gratitude, but Lily wasn't satisfied. "Wait," she interjected. "I deserve a share of that money. I'm carrying his child." The company staff stared at her in confusion. "Excuse me, miss, who are you? Victor only has one son." "I'm his second wife. This baby is his," Lily shouted, showing photos and videos as proof. The room fell silent, but I quickly regained my composure. I slapped her across the face, tears streaming down my cheeks. "You ungrateful child. Victor was kind enough to take you in when you were abandoned. How dare you slander him like this?" Lily's defiance crumbled under the weight of public judgment. "It's true. I've been with Victor for 2 years, and this baby is his," she sobbed. I turned to Victor's colleagues, pleading, "Please, ask our neighbors. They can confirm Lily admitted to being Victor's goddaughter. She's just here to cause trouble and take advantage of us." The room erupted in whispers, many condemning Lily as a shameless gold digger. Security escorted her out of the hospital, but the damage had already been done. News of her scandalous behavior spread quickly, with videos circulating online. In a desperate attempt to clear her name, Lily contacted her university, claiming she was the victim of Victor's manipulation. I provided the school with evidence of their financial transactions, along with testimonials from her roommates, exposing Lily's extortion schemes. Her parents were furious, disowning her publicly. During an altercation, her stepmother accidentally pushed her into the street, where she was struck by a car. The incident left Lily hospitalized, and her stepmother faced charges for intentional harm. Victor, now fully under my control, was brought home to recover. I hired a caretaker to look after him, while I continued to manage the household and our finances. A week passed, and life seemed to settle down. But then, one night, Lily returned, breaking into our house. She knocked the caretaker unconscious and held a knife to Victor's throat, demanding money. "I know you're counting on Victor's pension and compensation. Give me $13,000, and I'll disappear forever," she hissed. "Not a chance," I replied coldly. "Do you think you can destroy my family, then simply walk away with money? Never." I reached for my phone to call the police, but Lily panicked. "Fine, $8,700. Just give me that, and I'll leave." I ignored her, continuing to dial. She dropped her demand again. $4,350. "Please, that's all I need. I swear I'll disappear." I didn't flinch. "Lily, are you even sure this baby is Victor's? Do you know that Victor suffered an injury years ago that left him unable to father children? I kept it a secret to protect his pride, but you should stop lying to yourself." Her face turned pale as she realized the truth. "That's not possible," she stammered. "You're lying." "No, Lily," I said firmly. "This ends here." As I kept her distracted, Michael quietly crept up behind her. In one swift move, he disarmed her, and the police arrived shortly after to take her into custody. The security cameras in our house captured the entire incident, leaving no doubt about her crimes. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison for attempted extortion and assault. With Lily finally out of the picture, Victor remained at home under the care of a devoted caretaker. Thanks to his monthly pension and the compensation from his accident, I lived a peaceful and comfortable life in my later years. Victor, now a shadow of his former self, could only lie silently, unable to cause any further harm. As for me, I reclaimed everything that had been taken from me in my past life. I built a secure and happy future for Michael and Grace while enjoying the tranquility I had long deserved.